How do you sound smart and professional in the workplace? That's the question that I always get a lot from my friends and clients. So today's video, it's about the top 10 tips and strategies that I'm going to share with you to transform the way you communicate with your business clients or co-workers in the workplace. Because you don't want to come off as rude, incompetent, or inexperienced in your workplace. So let's dive straight to these English words and phrases that will help make you sound a little smarter. So there you go. These are the top 10 useful tips that I'm sharing with you to help you sound smarter and more professional at work. So instead of saying the usual stuff on the left, now we begin to change the way we say things. We consider saying the things here on the right. So for instance, the first one, instead of saying my view on the issue is that, now you can consider using this word, my stance. My stance on the issue is that. Now, stance simply means position, your viewpoint. Or maybe you can say, I have a different stance on the issue. My stance on the issue here is that. Alright, that's the word stance to replace the word view or opinion. And if you're very concerned about the consequences of your action at work, we sometimes tend to ask this question, what will happen? What's likely to happen? What are the consequences? So instead of saying that, maybe you can use this word implication or ramification. Okay? Yeah, so you can say something like, what implication will this have on the project? Or what ramification does this potentially have on the project? Ramification and implication simply mean the likely consequences, the possible consequences or outcome of your action or decision. And the third category, sometimes we tend to say, I have thought about something carefully. So instead of using the word thought, you can perhaps now use the word assess. I have assessed the situation carefully. Means you have analyzed, you have evaluated the situation carefully. Assess. Or what's your assessment of the issue? What do you think of the issue? What's your assessment of the issue? To sound more formal and presentable. And the fourth category here, this is a bit similar, but maybe here we're looking at a different word here, weigh. So instead of saying, I have looked at the different aspect of the issue, now you can say, I have weighed the different consideration and issue. Weigh simply means you have compared different issues, you have thought through different aspects of the issue. Weighed. Alright, and then moving on. Okay, when it comes to rejection, when it comes to expressing disagreement, instead of being too direct, instead of saying this idea is bad, this sucks, or this I don't like this idea. So another way to get around it is to use the word expectation. So you can say something like, this proposed idea is below my expectation, below, or it does not meet my expectation. I find this word rather useful. You can, if something is really good, you can say this goes beyond my expectation, right? But if something is bad or it's not up to standard, you can use the word below my expectation to express an idea more politely. And moving down the list, this has been rather useful for some of my students, especially when you're dealing with conflict or strong disagreement at work. So instead of saying, I don't like how you put it, I don't agree with what you say, maybe you can show a little bit of professional respect to the other party by saying, with due respect to you, I am afraid that I can't agree with you. So the phrase with due respect is rather useful, especially you use it before you say something that is a little nasty, a little negative. You can always start the sentence by using the phrase with due respect to you. With due respect to you as a colleague or as a friend, I'm afraid I can't agree with you. Alright, yeah, the phrase with due respect, or I'm afraid that,
to sound more polite. And instead of saying, is there another better plan? Instead of using the word better or good, maybe you can use a stronger word, a more relevant word to use in your businesses or at work. Strategic. When something's strategic, it's definitely a lot stronger than just being good. Strategic means it's very suitable, appropriate, especially when it is related, when it's helping your company to meet its objectives. Strategic, which comes from the root word strategy. Strategic, right? A strategic idea, a strategic plan. And moving on, if I want to give some feedback or you want to share your criticism with your subordinates about his or her performance, so instead of saying your performance is not very good, your sales record are bad, you can maybe use this word here. You are underperforming at work this month, right? Underperforming. It sounds more polite and it's not too direct or too rude to your co-worker. And moving down the list here, some of the ideas here are related to one another, but here maybe we're dealing with another interesting phrase here, not aligned with. So instead of saying this idea doesn't suit us, this is a bad idea, you can say that this idea is not in line. What this simply means is it's not suitable because it's not in line with what you have in mind. But a more proper word here is align. This idea is not aligned with what I think, or this idea is not aligned with our core values of this company. Core values, the very important values that your company holds. Last but not least, when you are stating a request, when you are asking someone to do something, it's always good to replace the word can with could. Could definitely sound a lot more polite. It definitely sounds a lot more formal. So you can say, instead of saying can you get it done, you could perhaps in fact I'm really using the word perhaps here, right, to basically put forward a suggestion. So you can say, could you perhaps get it done in one day, especially when you're stating something that's really especially when you want to sound like you're being too demanding. Could you perhaps? All right, so these are the top 10 tips that you can apply right away in your workplace to consider having a bit of change in the way you communicate with your co-workers or your business client.
So that's all from me today, and thanks for watching. If you find this video useful, remember to comment below and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the following red button right below your screen. And I hope to see you guys again. Till then, see you and have a lovely day ahead.